Determination to conquer all my ambitions, despite all the conditions. In light of my past decisions, made it to this position, and so my disposition, not seeing no limits, killing the competition. Yeah, I'm a beast, now I'm released, ready to feast, calm and peace, not the least.
What's going on, people? It is Saturday night and next podcast is live. Yo, huge shout out to everybody checking out the show. live tonight. Tonight's a very special episode. I hope you can see from the graphics. If you look towards the microphone, we have Xbox Addict's logo. Xbox Addict, his spirit will be with us throughout this entire show. I do want to say, I was trying to think about what to do because he is such a supporter within the community. Man, he was one of those beating hearts in the Xbox gaming community, Twitter, social media, and stuff like that. I was like, man, we got to do something special. So tonight, Xbox Addict is getting his own next podcast intro, and he is being inducted as a lifetime panel member. So as we're going forward, as you see from episode to episode, there is going to be an Xbox Addict in there. So, for future reference, definitely watch the future shows and see if you can spot where Xbox Addict will be. But, it was a very kind of like sobering time this week. This guy, such an amazing gamer, such an amazing person when it came to talking about games and life on social media. Not a lot of people know this, but he was actually going to be a part of Crossfire before like his health started kind of like deteriorating again. So I kind of like took him in as Crossfire fam. So I think it's going to be awesome tonight to bring him in as a part of the next podcast fam. So without further ado, when it comes to these intros, let me introduce the man whose Xbox collection will make any gamer jelly a huge part of the community. And yes, a military man as well. So he was out there defending our rights and such. I am talking about Xbox Addict. That's for you, brother, man. On other notes, let's move on, and we got a lot of topics to go through for today, and we can't do that without the rest of the panel. So let's start with those lights. They are flickering all over the country, all over the world, because it is time to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring, the Don.
Hey guys, I know we just lost a great one with Xbox Addict, but I'm going to try to do it with how he would do it and just keep it positive and keep it moving. So,
hell yeah! This show is dedicated to him, and like I said, I am proud to have him as a part of the panel from now throughout the lifetime of the show. So, let's go next on the list. He is our resident Halo completionist, including the Halo 4 story, K Mega.
Facts. Let's go. Anyway, man, thanks for that great introduction, you know what I'm saying? And as usual, always happy to be here. As I'm looking at this, but I gotta say there's something wrong about this, about what's going on with the stream.
What happened? What happened?
There's a gameplay winner, but it's not under my name. So I'm having a problem with that. But other than that, I think the show is going to be great. Man, again, I'm glad for everybody to be here, man. Hit that like button.
And we even got Supersonic in the chat right now. K Mega wins gameplay locked.
Yes, thank you.
You haven't even seen what he brought, man.
Because they already know what I'm bringing is that heat. It's been what, a week or two? It's fire. You know that fire is coming. Games that people probably ain't never seen before, so you know it's going to be flames. Hey, man, big salute to Xbox Addict, for real. Rest in peace. Really good dude, and I try to hold up that same image of not going after people, trying to throw myself into the crumb side. I know I go on crazy podcasts, things like that, but I always keep uplifting regardless. And man, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for your service and all that, man. God bless you.
Nice, man. And I immediately regret introducing you before this next man right here. The first time winner of the gameplay for next podcast. And you can see, I really gussied up that whole golden disco ball thing going on here. I am talking about our brother, Predator.
About damn time I got a victory, but it doesn't count because K Mega said he gave me the victory.
Yeah, I knew he was going to say
you
that.
You guys can't even vote for him anymore. He didn't even finish Halo.
Oh, bloody!
Oh, do we have to check them papers, man? We have to
You gotta check them papers. You gotta check my son's papers. You can't check mine, and then it'll be true. So anyway, keep going, man. That's funny.
Man, that's all I got, man. Shout out to Xbox Addict and his family, fellow service member as well. I miss that guy. I didn't know him very well, but I did follow his channel. So follow him on Twitter. So we lost a good one in the community, but the show must go on.
Hell yeah, man. And on that note, we gotta give a shout out to the rest of the Next Podcast family out there. Snaps is out there, doing what she normally does with them chocolate chunk cookies, the peanut butter cookies or whatnot. Yeah, she's out there working right now. Huge shout out to our brother, the Angry Otter, Dark Optimus, who is out there on the West Coast, taking care of family business, and of course the Wizard of the UWP, our boy Newark, and the golden voice of the Next Podcast, of course, Fuski. So huge shout out to the Next Podcast fam, and like I said before, huge shout out to everybody checking out the show live. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, for supporting, this channel and everybody's channel on the panel, everything that we do. It is really appreciated. On that note, guys, we have to get into topics, and I'm trying to think of what the first topic should be. I think we should give a huge shout out and give our thoughts and opinions to Ninja Theory for Hellblade, because it seems that Ninja Theory was able to donate $25,000 to Mental Health America for selling over 50,000 Xbox One copies of Hellblade. Mega, what do you think about this, man?
Man, I'm happy that it sold the way that it did. I mean, I would wish it was more, but man, I mean, we at least got to a plateau, and we've heard some good positive things. Of course, I've heard some things about the game is a little bit slow, Mega Man, but the game is beautiful. The puzzles be tripping me out, things like that, but regardless, for the most part, you've been hearing a lot of positive things about the game, and the one thing about this game that nobody can say is that it didn't grip you in one way, shape, or another, because if it wasn't for the graphics that pulled you in, or some of the fighting once you learn how to parry and things like that, or the biggest thing that I've heard is the sound. It's one of the best sounding games I think that's out there, and man, so it's really positive. And of course, giving a donation to mental illness, that's always a plus. I like it. I'm happy.
When it comes to YouTube, you guys know I watch a lot of YouTube and stuff like that. I gotta say, I am getting sick and tired of the Hellblade commercials that are going on before videos. But anytime money goes to a charity, and $25,000, that's nothing to kind of like turn your nose up to or anything like that. Dealing with mental health in America, I gotta shout it out, man. So congratulations. To Mental Health America, Ninja Theory, everybody who copped Hellblade on Xbox. To me, that is a win-win all the way around. Predator, what do you think, man? Is this good deal here?
Oh yeah, anytime you're giving a charity, it's a good deal. I wish, like Ken Megan said, I wish they had sold more copies, but I think a lot of people who really wanted this game got it either on PC or PlayStation 4. This is one of the knocks of not announcing that you're bringing a game to another console. I think it could have sold a lot more. I think it will sell more than, I think it'll probably make about 120,000 easily, but in the first month or two. But I mean, good on them though, man. They got it out there. They got it on Xbox. It's a good game. I know it's slow to some people. I know you don't. Really...
I hear the game's alright, man. It's alright.
And I've had gameplay footage on here before. It's got repetitive combat, but the sounds are really amazing. It gets you immersed in the game, and that's what you really want. It isn't just about the combat. That's what the game isn't supposed to be just about the combat. You're supposed to be involved into the story as well. So, dude,
it was really good to hear. I checked out Digital Foundry when they were showing kind of like the different the different modes on the Xbox One X, and they were talking about the game as a whole. It was pretty good to hear Digital Foundry saying that Senua, I believe is her name.
Yeah.
Her eyes can wander from time to time, making it look a little weird. Like when she's in anguish or something like that, like her eyes, like her left eye will go left a little or something like that. So,
See?
But yo,
Good game, man. $30, pick it up, guys.
Yeah.
Yo, Don, man, being a developer, seeing that they were able to get a certain amount of copies out there, get $25,000 into Mental Health of America. Are you gonna do something like that with Project Pimp Cup, man?
I don't know if anything I have brings awareness. Like, it's more than just like donating. It comes right down to the fact that I don't think a lot of us understand what people that have mental anguish are really going through. And this game brings a little bit of awareness. And I think that's important. I think a lot of times we sometimes just side with people and just say, hey, everyone needs to be happy and stuff like that. And I agree with that. But sometimes we have to look at our people suffering for something much greater challenge than what we're suffering through. And it's a video game, right? So it's not a 100% true representation, but it's based on some real things that do happen to people and what those experiences are like, and try to put you in those shoes. So it's a unique thing about the medium. So I really think it's a great thing. I wish they would have sold more. Sure, if I'm successful, I'm definitely going to do what I can do as a charity. I think the only thing would be relatable is I wanted to give back to people that are wanting me be developers, and give basically hardware to people to be able to make their dreams a reality. I think that's one of the biggest hurdles people have.
Nice.
I may not have the means, but that's so early, and I just have to worry about getting content out right now. So we'll worry about that down the road. But that if anything's true and dear to my heart, and if I had the means to donate, would be getting people equipment, software, those sort of things, so they can make their dreams a reality. Honestly, put more games out there. So
nice. And from time to time, you think about it, how many people out there like have the talent or have that kind of like brilliance or whatever to make quality things, whether it's art, different forms of art, music, gaming, and stuff like that, who just they can't get their hands on the tools or whatnot. So that would be awesome right there, man.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And the industry is thinking along those lines. That's the reason why certain engines are free to be able to use until you publish something. Those barriers are starting to come down, but it's still a long ways. It's the reason why games are so expensive. And as long as people have that burning desire, I want to be able to make that happen for them. So awesome. Now, let's get over the kumbaya a little bit over here, as a lot of people in this in the community have been saying lately, and let's get into some of I guess you could say the meat and potatoes of the topics. It seems that Black Ops 4, there's rumors from multiple sources stating that this Call of Duty coming out this year will not have a single player, and quite possibly instead have a battle royale mode. So you would get your all your traditional multiplayer death matches and all that good stuff, plus a battle royale mode for the same $60 price. And they are doing this, the iteration that's coming out this year is a Black Ops iteration. So it would be Black Ops 4. Predator, dude, you're a shooter, man. You like shooters and stuff like that. I know you're more into Battlefield or whatnot, but what do you think about this rumor? If true, is it something that warrants a $60 investment, man?
I think the issue with this is the fact that we've had this for so many Call of Duties. We've had a single player campaign in so many Call of Duties, and they took it out. That's what makes it the bigger issue than anything. You got to think about how much content Call of Duty actually gives you for $60 in the past. They give you the single player, a multiplayer, they give you zombies, and they're probably thinking like, man, we need to step back a little bit, because like, we're going to give them a new game mode too. We can't give them all this shit in one $60 title, because it was either that or increase the price of the game, So would you rather pay, $80 for all of that, or $60 minus the campaign? I'm a campaign fan, so don't get me wrong. I love the campaign in Call of Duty. I hate multiplayer on there. I'm more of a Battlefield multiplayer guy. But, I mean, they probably had to step back a little bit because they're putting too much in the game. It's probably costing too much, even though they do make a lot of money on this franchise. But they're coming out with one every single year. So maybe they didn't have a story.
All right,
I don't
every
know.
single year, but they're different developers that are developing each one, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I sense the pain. Again, I'm not a big Call of Duty fan, so it's not really going to affect me. But I mean, when I did play it, I liked the story. I think it's bullshit too, because I think like I said, the bigger issue, had we never had a single player game in it in the beginning, I don't think anybody would be saying anything. But because we have, and we like, I mean, what's a bigger knock? Would it be a bigger knock if they took out zombies and just made a battle royale mode and kept the single player and multiplayer?
I think that would have been less of a knock, actually, man.
Because I know some people, they just love zombies, and like, I mean, I think you're right. I think if they how about they just take out multiplayer completely?
Oh, then people would be rioting out in the streets right now. You would torches and shit, yeah.
So they got to do something, man. I mean, okay, they're trying to. I think they're trying to kind of grasp onto the battle royale mode.
It's Activision, man. Come on, cash grab.
Yeah, and it is, but they could have did the cash grab with. I honestly think if they'd have made this an $80 game, people with everything in it, battle royale, everything that it's normally been, people still would have bought it. But this may deter people from buying it out.
Well, Predator. On that note, we're talking about buying the game or whatnot. I know you're a single player guy. No, but do you think that people should kind of possibly withstand their love for Call of Duty and think twice about buying it if it doesn't have the campaign in it?
I don't think that's going to happen. Even if we say that now, I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, we could throw it out there and see what happens.
I mean, it ain't going to stick on the wall if we throw it at it. But, I mean, some people, I mean, the multiplayer is there, and that's where I think their bread and butter is. It really isn't in the story. They're like I said, they're the people who do play the single player. I wouldn't say they're in a minority, but, like, what do you think of when you think of Call of Duty?
I think single player campaign with a dash and multiplayer.
Yeah, and that's me too. But I think like after you finish that single player, guess where the money's made at? Multiplayer. So
DLC.
Yeah, exactly. So and there's never been DLC for the story mode.
No.
Multiplayer. So they know what they're doing, man. I think maybe getting actors to do certain stuff. Maybe they just ran out of fucking ideals, man. It's like, let's just make a multiplayer game.
Brad, this doesn't concern you for like the future? No, knowing that, if any title out there can do this and only get a dent in their armor, it would be Call of Duty. Because let's be honest, a huge backbone of that gaming community right there is like 10 to 14-year-old boys and whatnot, and they don't give two craps. They just want to go right into multiplayer. Does this kind of like concern you that this might catch on and move throughout different franchises in gaming, man?
Not really, but I could see that happening, but it's not a really big concern of mine because there's certain games, like I've never finished a Battlefield single player ever. I'll just play straight multiplayer. I'll start it.
I still got to beat the Battlefield 1.
I didn't finish the Battlefield 1. I didn't finish the Battlefield 4, the Battlefield 3. I never finish them. I just go straight. Once I get the mechanics down, I go straight to multiplayer. And because that's like I said, that's what's you're not gonna hop online after buying that game 5 months down the road to play the single player campaign. You're gonna go straight to the multiplayer. And so like I don't want it to be a trend. I don't think it will be, because I mean, could you imagine Halo doing this, is making a multiplayer and not a single player? Because the story, like we're in motion story, I think why this works for them is because the story doesn't have characters we're familiar with from Call of Duty to Call of Duty.
That's a
great point. The last one that made sense, I think, was the Modern Warfare series that had Soap and the other guys. Like, it made sense then. If they got rid of that story and it was like an ongoing story, that would suck. But like these generational games that they've come out with have never really, like, especially the last couple of years, they don't really have the same character to kind of fall over into the next. You don't really get a chance to get immersed with that one character. Like
you don't get attached to the characters because it's like one and done type.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that, man. And of course Predator knows how to pull at my heartstrings. He's like, can you imagine if they do that with Halo? Oh my goodness, because I gotta say, the first 3 Halos, I played the multiplayer and stuff like that, but when it came to the first 3 Halos, it was all about the single player campaign, man. I love that story, the universe, everything like that. I don't know. Let's move to Mega. Mega, Call of Duty.
Speaking of Halo campaigns.
Yeah, I know, right?
So Halo 4.
Obviously, he already know his answer because he never played it.
Well,
I never play them, so
Sorry,
I never beat any of them. So I mean,
none of them. None of them. What's
none.
a Master Chief?
What is that? The only thing I know is Locke. Anyway, keep going.
I was gonna say that's why you like Locke so much, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You didn't even see what Master Chief went through, but
I don't know anything about the Arbiter or anything like that. I don't know nothing about Halo.
Isn't that a sandwich from Arby's, man?
I think so. Yeah.
No, that's straight up Quiznos.
Oh. But we don't have no Quiznos out here anymore. Anyway, let's stay on topic.
There's no Quiznos anywhere.
The rails, man.
No, we clowning.
But Call of Duty, man. No rumors, by the way. But it is multiple sources. I want to put it out there. There was people saying in the chat that I think Daz was like, they're rumors at the moment, no doubt. But when they come from multiple sources, if they're coming from different directions, north, south, east, west, and they're coming with the same information, that makes it a little more credible than just one person stating this. So it's a little more of a solid rumor than just kind of like throwing that idea in the air. But Mega, what do you think about this, man?
Well, to me, it's kind of a catch-22 for Activision regarding Call of Duty. Now, see, you're talking about Black Ops 4, and people are more. Because Fred said that he hasn't really played that many other stories. Black Ops is one of the more popular stories when it's coming to when it comes to Call of Duty.
Mega,
so
that's the one thing I didn't understand. If you're gonna do this with any title,
right,
why are you doing it with a Black Ops without Ops, man?
Right. And the thing of it is, to me, is that I think that maybe Activision has a trick up their sleeve. Because if you remember the rumors, and we don't know if that's true or not, we just know it was a rumor where they were where they were going to just do a 1999 version of Modern Warfare 2 story without the multiplayer. And a lot of people's like, well, nobody wants that. Yeah, nobody really wants that. People want Modern Warfare 2 for the multiplayer. So how I look at this is like, if they do this, and if it sells well or if it doesn't, it could be a barometer of what they're trying to say is like, look, you guys didn't even support one of the more popular Modern Warfare or Call of Duty games. So we just thought that this would be the better way to just go at it, because most people just jump and play on multiplayer or they play zombies. Another thing is that Activision could also, they want to do this battle royale mode, and that is more money in their pocket. Because if you look at like just any regular Call of Duty, after the first DLC, COD kind of goes dead. It kind of goes blank. I was talking to my son today, and I was saying something to him about COD. I was like, I ain't seen you play COD, because he's over here playing the hell out of Fortnite, right? So he was like, oh man, COD is dying. He says there's only like 1,000 people that's watching on Twitch, and you don't see that many people on Mixer while playing it or whatever, and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even, because I don't really pay attention to how many people are watching whatever, but to them that just means a sign of failure. So of course that means that maybe Activision is looking at the same thing, and so they're saying, well, we can go balls to the wall with multiplayer, do the battle royale, and then later on down the line give a story mode to where people have to pay to keep you enhanced, to keep you going all year long.
So you think they're gonna have you? They might have you pay for a single player as DLC, like a single player campaign as DLC after a while. That's what. Yeah,
I mean, I could see them doing that. I mean, to me, it's like, make all the money that you can, because people are going to be playing the multiplayer anyway. Present your new battle royale mode. That's taking a lot of space, I guess, as well. And then you put all those microtransactions in between both, plus with zombies, you'll kill it. You'll make more money than the traditional way. And then also you can still bring the COD story later on down the line, maybe around the second part of the DLC,
and make money off of off that minority, make more money off that minority that would go into the single player as well.
Right. That was just the kind of thing when we remember when everybody was confused about this new strategy that COD was doing by having 3 studios, come in, and I was saying, hey, that was genius because they can have a different type of COD for anybody's flavor, because at that time it was like, oh, the Ghost, and then you got all these different things they can do and separate whatever they want to now. And then don't forget that they can still bundle in a Modern Warfare 2 later on, just like they did with what was it? Not this last COD, but the COD before that, where they did Modern Warfare 1, the first Modern Warfare, and they could do that with Modern Warfare 2 just to entice people just to get back on the game and to try out the Battle Royale, and because they sold like hotcakes at that time, and maybe not that many people played played the actual game of what COD did that year, but they played the hell out of the original Modern Warfare, and they made tons of money. So I think they got all types of tricks up their sleeve, because it's all about money.
Well, it's all money tricks when you think about Activision. And I gotta say, Mega, it sounded like you were getting a little distracted there with my gameplay. By the way, it is greatness in the show.
I'm watching the playoffs. I didn't see. Oh, okay. I'm watching the playoffs. It's a minute 26. This is a really good game, man.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But anyway,
this is dope though. No,
but Activision, like that is an angle I haven't heard from people in terms of possibly selling single player campaign as DLC down the line. And I would. That's very plausible when it comes to Activision and what they like to try to do in terms of making money. Anybody else on the panel have any reaction to what K-Mega just said there? Does that sound like something that they would do,
I have gotten so uninterested. You said so many different things and so many things going on. Like, if they do need that stuff, I can just like not care about this game at all.
But if there's any title for them to try stuff like this, it's Call of Duty. Let's be real now, because like even if they take a hit, it's not going to be a big one.
Well, and one of the things I'm not worried about is free market, right? If this is what gamers want, they'll buy it. If it's not what they want, eventually there will be a breaking point where everyone's just going to snap on them. And yeah, Call of Duty has pull, but we have seen their numbers drop before. In regards to this, so one of the other weird things is they keep saying it's not your traditional campaign, so people are taking it to, hey, there is no campaign, and so I don't really know what to make of it. I don't know if I would jump to the conclusion that there is no campaign.
Battlefield 1 didn't have your traditional campaign, but it had a single player kind of like experience to it.
And it could be very similar to that. It could be a little bunch of mini micro stories. It could be, who knows? It could have like no AI, but it's actually done by actual multiplayer people jumping into your campaign, and they play the enemies against you. It could be a lot of things, right? So we don't know what direction they're taking this. So, I think people keep jumping to the conclusion they're going to remove the campaign because this is something that's been talked about in Call of Duty for as long as I remember, before this generation even started, right? So, we'll see what really comes right down to it. If they remove campaign entirely, I'm not interested. Like I buy Call of Duty once every 2 or 3 years, right? Okay. And the only thing I do play is the campaign. And if there's no campaign, then I'm not interested. I don't think I've played a multiplayer with Call of Duty in, I want to say, 7 years.
Oh, damn.
So I mean, like literally, like when people keep saying like, well, no one plays the campaign. I've never really played the multiplayer. I think it's not the best what's out there as far as multiplayer goes. I think it's just real easy pick up and play sort of stuff. And I just don't find the gameplay loop that engaging. So I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not the most successful multiplayer out there. It's probably one of the most successful. It doesn't take away from that, but I'm just not interested. If they remove campaign, you won't hear me complain about it. I just won't buy the game. Simple as that.
Don, we talk every once in a while about like gaming in terms of like the future and stuff like that. We haven't talked recently about it, but I gotta say, man, I'm watching the landscape, and it might not be a traditional single player, but if they literally take out the single player for a battle royale, or basically a single player isn't done or anything like that, I see an influence from mobile games coming into console. I'm seeing more of a focus on multiplayer over story. I mean, you look at games like PUBG and stuff like that. That's what people are playing right now. Dude, are you concerned at all with like what's going to happen in the future in terms of game development and what's popular versus kind of like that artistic creativity and whatnot, man?
No, not really. I mean,
I am, dude. I know.
Well, I'm not, because here's what happens. Whatever is hot at the time is hot at the time. And things go through their trends, but I don't believe certain games disappear, certain genres that disappear. Once a new genre is out, there's always a demand for that genre. Just sometimes it gets overshadowed by the latest and greatest thing. And that's kind of just how I feel, how I look at it. So that goes anything from turn-based RPGs, side-scrolling games, to third-person action shooters, story-based games. And look at God of War. God of War is probably one of the most successful franchises out of the gate for PlayStation right now. And it doesn't have any multiplayer. It is simply a story. That's what the game is. And
I think people are kind of fluffing that game though up to be more than what it is.
Regardless, I'm not super hyped on the game either. But
there's more and more people saying that it's not a 10. They just say it's a great game.
Regardless, though, I mean, they're doubling down and it's successful, right? So that shows that there's always a demand for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't worry about that. The people that are passionate that want to do that stuff will do that. To be honest with you, like there's a little bit of selfishness there. I mean, my game is a story-based single player game, so less of those out there on the market, the better I'm going to do, right? but I'd say that because I believe those genres don't go away. I think there's always going to be a demand for them. Sometimes they're just overshadowed by the latest trend. And that's all there is to it. It's just kind of like people always say, like, oh, I want the game to be open world. Not everybody wants a game to be open.
I am so tired of that. Every single franchise needs an open world game. No, it doesn't, people.
No, it doesn't.
Right? Exactly. But that's a perfect example where people go, oh, this game's not open world. Hey, yeah, that's right. That was fun too. Right? So it's I'm not worried about certain things, disappearing like that. Just people are going to find their audiences. The industry's going to grow. There's going to be more types. And yes, this is just one thing that's happening, but there's going to be other stuff down the road that, and then they also look backwards. They also always look to what has been successful in the past and keeping it simple. So,
guys, do you see the gameplay going on right now? I jumped back.
I was just going to say it's Prey. Yeah,
I jumped back into this, man. I got hooked. I ended up playing for like over 2 hours last night. Just thinking
read-out. I mean, it's in my save stash. I might need to pull it out.
Oh man, like the whole walking on the walls and on the ceiling, and like you completely lose like your idea of what the ground is compared to the roof and stuff like that. It is a lot of fun, people. If you haven't played the original Prey from the 360, I highly suggest.
That's the reason why I didn't even buy the new Prey, because I hated that they went away from what this was. This was great. I was mad about that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I knew I was going to catch Mega with that, by the way.
Yeah. I got a problem with change, I guess.
But I gotta say, when it's all said and done, I know I asked Don this. I think I asked Predator this. I'm not sure if I asked you. Like, is there any concern for like the future with how we see, like, with the success of like Fortnite and PUBG, you see some of that mobile model coming into console gaming in terms of games and stuff like that. Is there any concern for like the single player aspects, like moving into the future? Like, these developers are going to be like, well, the money's not really there, but if we make this like free to play and add cosmetics and stuff like that, like that's where all the money is, and they're going to go that way more. No concern?
Yeah, no, it is a concern, because once we seen what was going on with PUBG, and you started hearing the rumors about games was going to start implementing this, Battlefield, COD, even hearing about a Halo getting a battle royale mode. It is one of them things where I guess it's a lot of money and work to be putting in to try to have these type of modes, and is COD, they have been making money, but it costs a lot of money to have all those big time actors and doing all the things that they do in those stories. Because I don't know who played the last COD. That story was absolutely amazing, and it had big time actors in it, and visually it looks stunning. So those things cost a lot of money. So yeah, we see games is in the market to make money, and make as much money as they can, and it's just according which company is more greedier than the other one, which one will take a hit, which one won't. And I do see that if this is successful for COD, then this could be the end of any type of story mode that we could see. Or if they do add it, then they might start paying some money. Now, I agree with Don. It could be anything. It could be they still could have some form of a story. We don't actually know because of the rumor, but I don't know, man. It's a pressing time for multiplayers in games for those type of shooters.
There's always two forces at work, right? Mm-hmm. There's always somebody at some sort of publishing entity, bigger company that pays the bills, that their job is to try to find ways to make more money or squeeze more dollars out of something, right? There's that's in any business, right? And then there's always the consumer, that what they're willing to pay for and what they're not willing to pay for. And those two are always at odds with one another. So if you don't like what something's doing, you simply don't have to get it. Here's the thing with COD. I know it's something.
People get COD though. If I decide I'm not going to get it, like I feel if they take away the single player, this should be the lowest selling COD like ever for them to like.
Well, that's why I say I don't worry about it, because people are just like all you have to think is there other games for me to play this year? That's all you got to ask yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And if they haven't earned your dollar, they haven't earned your dollar. If you're happy with the changes, like I'm not going to criticize for somebody that says, you know what, I want COD and I don't care about the changes. They don't care about the changes. Those are their choices, right? Mm. I'm not going to criticize those sort of people, but if you just let things go the natural evolution of things, I think you'll find a happy medium, right? They may go, well, you know what, campaign's not worth it. Our sales drop, but hey, we saved X number of dollars and we can sell it at this price. This will keep the consumers happy. There's so many things where this can all pan out, but I think this is something it's been predicted about COD ever since like mid-generation last gen. That when are they going to drop the campaign?
I've heard people whisper that, like, man,
yeah,
certain discussions with other YouTubers and stuff like that. People are talking about at some point in time, man, because all their money is basically multiplayer, and it's like I like having that single player experience. For people who are new, like coming in new to Call of Duty, the single player is a great way to kind of get your bearings on the game before you go into multiplayer or whatnot. So,
I mean, the favorite character in all Call of Duty games is the Follow Me character.
The Follow Me character.
If you play Call of Duty campaign, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Oh, Follow Me.
There's always this little icon above that
guy. Guys, I didn't put this in our topics, but since we're talking about this, man, I've been thinking about kind of like this entire generation, and I haven't had concerns like I have had this generation in previous generations. There's certain things like, success of Fortnite, PUBG, the whole console war business and stuff like that. So I want to ask you guys, like, so far, how would you rate this generation opposed to like the others that you've already gamed through? Like, to me, I gotta say, so far, I've had great experiences with like Halo and Forza Horizon and stuff like that, but like the amount of stigma, negativity, certain aspects, this has to be one of the worst generations, in my opinion. But I want to know from you guys.
Sure, it's not highs and lows. Like, that's the way I've looked at it. There's been some really good highs and there's been some really good lows. In regards to
everything. Do they equal out though? Really?
Well, that I don't know. But I can't, like, you can say all the negative stuff about the community.
Well,
but
I want to know your opinion though. What do you think?
But I can also say I've met some of the best people right? This generation,
Oh,
because
thank you, Don.
because
I
of
appreciate
the
that.
because of the negativity, right? That came all because of that. So, people standing up for stuff that was bullshit and they didn't want to deal with it anymore. So, and coming together, and they just love playing games. So,
Oh, he's talking about Blades right now, Mr. Positivity himself.
no, well, you have to take your good with the bad, right? So, but I mean, that's why I look at it. I kind of was expecting games to kind of. I think people are waiting for these visual jumps that it's a false expectation, because it's going to be a little bit more like this continuing going forward. You're not going to see those generational jumps like you did before. I think people need to get that out of their head. It's just not going to happen.
I think the next generation, even with the X, I think we are going to see a generational leap between consoles, man. I feel
you're running out of technical stuff you can do. All the same effects you're getting in movie special effects today, you can get into your current consoles right now. Not to the same fidelity, I would argue, but all those effects already exist. So, it's just going to be a slow progression towards that sort of level of fidelity.
I don't know, man. With the boost in CPU, new GPU architecture coming down the line,
that's all going to help. But it's just I'm just telling you, it's going to be a slow progression as far as that goes. It's not going to be like you wake up one year and then all of a sudden next thing you know you're like, what the hell?
All right.
I would just say set realistic expectations, and that's the expectation.
I am never realistic. I am king neutral. I am the king of the land of neutrality. I am never realistic. All right. Yo, Predator, what do you think though, man? Kind of, looking back at this generation, seeing the highs, seeing the lows, seeing people almost having to defend what games they like and what they purchase and stuff like that. I mean, I know it's gone through other generations, but to me, there's been a lot of negativity this generation, to the point where I'm like, this really wasn't the greatest generation in gaming. What do you think, man?
I'd have to break this answer down in several subtopics.
Yo, get the whiteboard ready. Here we go.
With social media, I think that's a negative. It's the way people react on social media about certain things and what they talk about. They make gaming not fun. And it's not just the trolls. It's like even people who have their own comments on something, it just kind of like it takes away from the overall gamer. I think this generation, and again, I said I'm breaking down subtopics. So if you look at each console specifically, I would think like the Nintendo Switch, like they've done some good things this year. They brought back Mario, which we knew, they're gonna bring back those franchises every year. We got Mario, we got Zelda this year. We're getting a Metroid here pretty soon, I think next year. And those are all like, playing on people's heartstrings, nostalgia, hella drug, whatever you want to call it. But they're bringing back their AAA franchises on their new console. And because the Wii U really wasn't a success for them. You go to Sony, they're bringing, we got God of War, we got Uncharted 4, we got the regular franchises that we've been playing on their console as well. They came back and they were hitting hard. And you go to the Xbox side, we got Halo, we got Gears that came back this year. All those are positives, but there's also negatives with each console too. Like, the launch of the Xbox One, original Xbox One, the Kinect was a failure. Microsoft, if I had to grade each and every console, I'd give Microsoft the lowest grade this generation. I'd give Sony higher marks than Nintendo. I put Nintendo in the middle, just because they just, came out of nowhere and just decided to kind of bamboozle the industry, making their Wii U too. So,
making it handheld, man. Let's
but I mean, overall though, if you take out the negative fanboys, I would still say that this is a really good generation. We got a lot of titles this year. We got Back and Pat. We're playing games we played years ago. Up-res, better graphic fidelity.
I will give you that, sir.
So, I think overall, if you take everything as a whole in the gaming community, I think this is a really good generation. I still think the 360 era was the best for me. But this gen right now, if Microsoft can get off their ass and do something with their console, I give this generation higher marks than what I think they are.
You think they're just sitting around? Is that
I wouldn't say
well, they're sitting around. They're streaming God of War right now. So
yeah. I won't get in that topic. No, I'm just saying, like, I mean, like, okay, and I'm sure we'll get into this either today or another topic, another day. But like, if you look at all three consoles, you know, like, I think the one that's not giving us what people are asking for is Xbox. Like, if you look at the games that people are like, okay, we're getting things we asked for. I'm not gonna make it.
I was gonna say, I think they tried to listen to the consumer base too much. There were points in time where they're like, well, we don't need marketing deals, so they stop with the marketing deals. And like,
I've never said that, and I don't speak for
maybe you haven't, but
I don't speak the whole industry. But I will say this, okay? Think about the games we've asked for this generation, and how many of them have we actually gotten? I mean, obviously, we know we're gonna get a Forza, Halo, Gears. We know that, but there's games that we've been asking for years, and we still have not gotten those games yet. Like, some people, I mean, like, I can't speak for everybody. Some people are asking for Conquer. Some people are asking for a lot of the rare titles to come back and, you know,
we got Conquer and Project Spark for a while though.
You know, that's bullshit though. Like, I mean, there's a lot of franchises, Perfect Dark. I mean, like, we hear rumors and stuff like that. We lost Fable, we lost Scalebound, which could have been. We're not getting another fucking Sunset. We're not getting another Rise. We're not. But
why aren't we getting another Sunset though? Why aren't we getting another Quantum Break?
I mean, like, because they can't seem to keep their relationships. And I'm not in the studio. I'm not in the fucking
Donnie D.
But like, yeah, you know, like,
well, that's it. Like, people don't understand this. Like, Xbox is still building up those relationships with third parties. Their relationship
rebuilding.
Yeah, because it was so poor because of the Donnie D era. And there are things that always happen behind the scenes, and there's things that, you know, what you guys end up seeing. And everybody I've heard of, a lot of like the turmoil of like certain people hating Xbox within certain studios and stuff like that. That was all because of the Donnie D era. There was other things too as well. The SDKs were underdeveloped. So everyone talks about the Kinect. Well, what also happened behind the scene is they didn't have access to the power under the hood right off the bat, and you had more access to more things on the PlayStation side.
Yeah.
And the SDKs were way ahead of what Microsoft was doing. So, you know, there's that was the launch, right? If them piss it off third party, then you have Sony offering something better to them as a consumer, because the developer is a customer as well. And so it stems from a lot of that. A lot of that cultural thing does spill also to the media as well. So, you know, these are the things that they're still repairing. They're in a lot better spot right now. I mean, one of the reasons by default my game is going to be on Xbox, obviously everything's being developed on PC first, right? Is because the default renderer is DX12 now. If I started my game at the turn of this generation, by default, probably it would have been PlayStation. So that's
would it have been PlayStation with DX11 or
no? Well, because what the default renderer I think before was OpenGL.
That's what that was my.
And that changes all the time, just so you guys know and stuff like that. But whatever gives you the most juice out of the engine is essentially what becomes the new default going forward. So that's kind of just how all that stuff works. And so we're in a totally different spot right now. And so when people kind of like, where's this, where's that? All those components that are moving behind the scenes that made the last generation great are all finally in place now. And it sucks. I mean, it makes no excuse for where they were before, right? But they're in a much different place as a platform than they were at the start of this launch, and they have much better relationship with third parties now. So, you know, there's a reason why maybe they're like, well, I don't know where Xbox is going with things, and you know, those third party deals are, you know, people don't have the strongest relationship. So next thing you know, they're like, well, Sony is, you know, I'm going to offer this deal to Sony, I'm going to offer it to Microsoft, and you know, they may both offer them the same amount of money, but you know, they may feel more comfortable going with Sony at the time. So these sort of relationships take so much time to repair, because it was literally 3 or 4 years of a Matric just putting Xbox in a bad spot. It wasn't just the launch.
Silent Hills is coming after you, man. We got the alarm going off in the background.
I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but I mean that's. I think it's something that people need to understand.
It sounds like it's something you really would like to really flesh out there and talk about and let people know exactly what's going on. You know.
Yeah, well, and it's just one of those. Some of those people I know that weren't a huge fan of Microsoft behind the scenes are coming around. They're happy with them as a platform provider, and that's ultimately what you guys want as gamers, is because then by default they become the more popular default product to make products for.
I don't know. I think all the hate, like when it comes to games like Quantum Break, Sunset Overdrive, I think they absolutely deserve a sequel, and I think a lot of it had to deal with the negativity. Like when it came to Quantum Break, like the whole resolution thing absolutely killed that title. Like that's all, people, big gaming media was talking about, leading it out through social media. That's what, the trolls started getting on, and there was this whole wave, like before anybody knew anything about the resolution, there was a lot of hype for that game. And that game is a quality game that definitely deserves a sequel. And it just feels like with this generation, the amount of negativity, console war bullshit, and stuff like that is hindering like those quality sequels to come out as well, man.
Well, and we don't really know. We're going to know a lot this E3 going forward exactly what the game plan is, but we don't know if those sequels did get snuffed or not. We have no idea. And so a lot of what we're going to see is, did those sequels get greenlighted, or did they go to not to the same well and decided to do a new project? Either way, we're going to get something. I just don't know what that something's going to be. And I think one of the reasons why you don't hear a lot right now is they're trying to snuff up that fire, that negativity fire in regards to those products. They just
got to keep moving forward. They can't snuff anything out. They just got to push through it.
Well, we're going to disagree on that one, but we're going to see how that's going to work out for them soon, right?
Yeah.
Because they haven't been talking about it for a while. They're going to go forward. They're going to, be talking about what their next projects are. And if you start to see sequels and that sort of stuff, and those sequels start seeing a little more positive light, we'll see if their actual strategy worked. If it just continues to be negative, then we can say, well, yeah, then that didn't work. You can't listen to those people, and you just have to keep moving forward and make the product you want to make. And sometimes you have to not worry about the ether.
I got you. I want to get K Mega's opinion on this. First thing I want to say is something that Predator said with talking about backwards compatible titles, getting kind of like up-res, better performing versions, going like all the way back to the original Xbox. I think we can, when we move past this generation, I think we're going to look back at this as the start of an absolutely insane Xbox platform where you can play games going from the original Xbox all the way through the generations. And I think that's something that people are going to kind of look back at and be like, damn, that's what that generation was really about with Xbox. And it'll turn out to be a great thing, because I don't see any other company developing that type of platform. But K-Mega, what do you think, man? We've gotten through, it's been since 2013, so 8 years going, 5 years going on 6 or whatnot. What do you think, man? Has this generation just been kind of like marred in negativity? Where would you put this so far in terms of the generations that you have gamed in, man?
This is above average. I mean, for me personally, I'm looking at Twitter. That's why I didn't even know that my award-winning gameplay was on.
No, people fell asleep. I actually had to wake people up.
Really? Is that what that was?
Yeah,
that was?
Especially
okay.
with Nier. Come on, Nier? Dude, really?
What's wrong with me playing Nier Automata? What's wrong with that?
It looks like the entire game's in fog, man.
I mean, that's just how the game looks. It's a dope little game, though. But anyway, but this is the thing right here, though. It's like I was just reading something from on Twitter just now, and like this is the problem. Like the media and the people that are just out there that's not even real gamers, the trolls, they get into people's ears so much.
They start a narrative, and it builds because of social media, man.
Because they're so it's one of those things where where people, if you drill it on people enough, there will be people that will start believing it. And it's like, well, Xbox is giving up on gaming. They don't care about their gamers. They don't care. They're not trying to establish any type of dominance.
So you're saying the X was made for the fun of it?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
just for kicks.
Remember, the X is just made for shits and giggles. Nobody don't really care. Yeah, I mean, well, because Microsoft has a lot of money and they just pour money in the trash, then that's just what's going on. No need to get all excited about it. I mean, Xbox has no games. So to me, these narratives have changed all through the year. I've never, ever, but because of course, I mean, we haven't had social media, but I've never seen so many narrative changes. Dude, in my entire life.
Doesn't it get tiring? Like
it was tiring 2 years ago.
Oh my goodness, man!
Like, I mean, when the whole, you know what I'm saying, the power narrative that was so strong, so hard. But see, this is the thing that we started this generation with everybody just now kind of sorting and getting into the social media. Now, once the next generation comes, everybody's going to have, you know what I'm saying, as we call receipts, which people's information of what they've said beforehand, because now you're seeing everybody saying, it's not about power, it's about the games. Once the PlayStation 5 comes out, it's going to be about power and it's going to be about the games, or whatever. If PlayStation goes through another moment of where they got to be a slow moment, then it's going to be about just the power aspect and how strong the PS5 is over the X and all of that trash, right? It's going to happen. And so many people hear this. And so now that PlayStation has done a fantastic job on marketing, they've done another great job on bringing out their titles that they've had lined up. They've delayed them perfectly. That's another thing that that people aren't really seeing as well. Like, it was almost seemed like it was like clockwork, because when we've seen that Uncharted was delayed for like 4 or 5 times, we were thinking that something was wrong with the game. Yeah. But they lined up everything to where every year after that they had bangers. And you know what I'm saying? And so they don't want to oversaturate, because they're going to have a whole bunch of other smaller titles to take the place. But when those big budget AAA titles come, they got those, and then it's going to look like they have a whole bunch of games. Well, with Xbox, on the other hand, with them not having Scalebound, and then Crackdown got delayed, and then Sunset Overdrive, well, not Sunset Overdrive, but Quantum Break got delayed, Cuphead got delayed. Quantum
Break had to be completely reworked again. They put in new actors, everything like that, man. Like, they had the story and stuff like that. They upgraded it.
Right. And so again, what the problem is that Xbox didn't have the perfect direction, because they were scrambling themselves with upper management, all of that. And if people think that stuff doesn't matter, then they don't know the business.
180 I've never seen a company turn everything around from one direction to another like that within a couple years.
I've never seen in Microsoft's history where they get all the different departments actually working together on time. I've never seen that, and that's what we have right now. So, if you don't think they're in it to win it, I don't understand why they would have done that, right?
Right. Again, that's the thing. It's to me, it's more or less that everything that they're doing, they've been on the defensive. And they haven't been on the offensive, because they've been trying to kick back for what happened in 2013. You know what I'm saying? They had to redirect and change everything. If Xbox was Sega, or I should say, let's just say that, if Xbox was Sega, this company would be gone, because there's not too many companies that could recover from the backlash that it had, rechanging everything. They wouldn't have had the money to do that. So obviously, if this company was not invested in the gaming, then they wouldn't have made the changes that they wanted to make. But overall, this generation has had some really great spots, because I've met some really great people. And also I play some really dope games. I mean, Witcher goes down as one of my favorite games of all time. There's been a lot of positive that's been in this generation, but again, it's the negativity from social media, the media itself, the fact that the remasters has gotten ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's been all really great games has been so far in between that this is why God of War is so is getting so much praise, is because every gamer has been thirsty for true greatness. And I'm not talking about just PlayStation fans, Xbox fans as well. So you know what I'm saying, even Nintendo fans. And so when they finally get these great games come up on their platform, then you know what I'm saying, it's not been anything like the last couple of gens. And you know, this has been like I said, a lackluster, it's above average generation.
Above average, yeah, definitely. I think it's something that in hindsight, when we look back and you look back at, like, Xbox is now dedicated to forwards and backwards compatibility. Like I said, they're building an Xbox platform that goes beyond generations. I think, like, once we move into the future and then look back and be like, we can appreciate it more. But yeah, definitely, like, the amount of negativity, the amount of bias, the amount of console war BS, especially, you know, if you're a part of social media, it's been absolutely ridiculous. And it does take away from, you know, a lot in terms of your gaming hobby or your gaming lifestyle when every corner you turn, when you're talking to your friends or something like that, you know, there's somebody there trying to basically shred to pieces the stuff that you're enjoying at that point in time, you know?
Yeah, like that's the thing of it that bothers me more than anything is this whole what's good for someone, it's got to be good for everybody. You know, if that person got the loudest voice and they say you will like this game or you will not like this game, then it's supposed to be where everybody follows the leader. Well, damn it, I'm not a leader, and most of the people that I deal with are, I mean, I'm not leader, they're followers, and most of the people that I deal with are not fucking followers. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like, why don't you just let that person enjoy what they like? And if you're not into that type of game or games, then why knock them for it? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, me and K-Mega play some of the same games, but the reality is our libraries are very different from one another.
Right.
Extremely different from one another. We constantly hang out in parties. I constantly, you know, I actually have my ears to the ground hearing what K-Mega likes about those games, right? Because I'm curious, right? And I'm not curious in the sense of, like, I need to tear down what he likes because we don't like the same thing. I actually curious and actually interested in why he likes it, because it's a mystery to me, right? Because I don't play those games, right? And so if I don't play those games and I don't enjoy those games, I don't understand why he likes it. So instead of arguing with K-Mega why he should or should not like a game, I'm curious of what I'm missing out on, and maybe I can actually learn from somebody else as an individual. And that's the way I look at it. And I always try games, even if I'm not interested in them. I at least want to give them a shot. And I don't. Here's the other thing, and I think this is one of the, you don't hear me say this, one of the biggest bullshit thing I've ever seen this generation.
Whoa, he swore. Holy crap.
Is when people say, hey, I watched this gameplay, and so therefore I know I don't like that game. I think that's complete crap, because you don't really know what the experience is until you put your hands on the controller, right? You have assumptions, but until you control the game, you don't have any idea what that game is going to be like.
There's people out there on YouTube trying to put reviews for games and stuff after watching a playthrough.
Watch out now, because people saying that I gave a review because I gave a score on what I seen. That shit is crazy to me. Like I guess I don't know if you guys know it or whatever, but I've been watching a lot of God of War. That's I watched it and all that stuff, right? So I watched about maybe almost 2 hours of God of War, and because regardless of of how I feel about the game, I'm intrigued, right? So I posted something, and maybe the wording was wrong or whatever, I don't know, but I just said, hey, look, what I'm saying? I said I watched tons of gameplay on God of War, saying it's a solid game. For what I seen, I give it an 8.7. Now I know it's not word for word of how I said it, but that's how I meant it. For what I seen, I give it an 8.7 for what I seen.
But you're fair to say that you don't really know how that game's going to play until you put it on the controller, right?
It's not like you're making a video about it and putting a review.
Oh my God! And I was positive about it. I was not like I was knocking or nothing. I just said for what I seen.
Jazzy says it gets a 4, by the way.
Well, okay, so I was basically like, and so just because I put a number, there was so many people coming out saying that I gave it a review. Well, why did you rate it? What I said, I'm just going by what I seen. I'm not saying anything about the gameplay. I'm not saying anything about because I haven't touched the game, so I wouldn't know what the gameplay is like. I didn't say anything about the listening of it, the visuals.
You're just gauging your personal interest of the game. That's all you're doing, like by watching a video. And so that's important to kind of keep in mind is you're engaging your personal interest in the game. There are games that you can watch and you can absolutely like, what the hell? Why are people even playing this, right?
Right.
And then when you get, you pick it up and play it, it may resonate with you totally differently than watching it. So that's why I kind of like, I'm not a big fan when people say that. Like, I have to kind of
Supersonic get God of War? Yo, Supersonic, hit up the chat. Did you actually buy God of War? Are you playing it right now? My bad. When I saw that, I was like,
no.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, I saw that too.
Yeah, but that's one of those things. Like, I don't know, you can't judge a game by its cover. It's a book. Judging a book by its cover. It's what it is. It's the equivalent to that in video games. Is watching a video
and judging books by covers has really worked out through human history. By the way,
I also said it was like I said the game was like I said God of War was like a movie because the cutscenes in between before you do something did look like a movie. The game looked great, right? So it's like to me, you know what I'm saying? I was being complimentary, just giving my thoughts of what I seen, and people turned that to be so negative because of they seen the number of 8.7 instead of, I guess and I guarantee you, if I said it was a 10 for what I seen, I don't think anybody would have said shit. But it's because it wasn't what all the rest of these high markings were, that it wasn't up to the standard. Plus, quote El Mega, he's over here trying to give a review on a game.
Wait, Mega, I got a serious question. Did he go on Metacritic and score the game?
You know what? I thought about it, but no, I didn't. I didn't know where to go to do that.
That's the point. Like, what does your opinion matter? Like, look, you looked at it and just like you're judging the interest, and it's somewhere between 8 and 8.5. That's your interest. That's all you're talking about. And people want to take that completely out of context.
Guys, check this out. I don't mean to change the subject real quick, but guys, give a huge shout out to the over 100 people watching right now. If you can do us a solid and definitely hit that thumbs up button or that thumbs down button. I don't care which one, but definitely do that. Share it out on social media. Tell people that you love the show. Tell people that you hate the show, but tell them to come check it out. All right?
No doubt. Hey, Mega's here.
Hey, it is one of the few places you can come hate on K Mega.
Yeah. You can come hate on K Mega here. You know
join the panel that way.
yeah.
Hate him on Twitter and other podcasts. Wow.
Just hate on me all over the place. Guys, I love it.
Let's keep that hate faucet kind of like flowing because IGN posted on Facebook. They posted a picture.
Nice segue.
They posted a picture, right? And they had the picture split in half. On one side, it had God of War. The new God of War had a picture up of that. On the other side, it had a completely black screen. On the black screen part, it said Xbox. On the God of War side, of course, it said PlayStation. And they put a caption over it is, can you see the difference? Now, IGN is supposed to be a professional gaming media. Basically, they're supposed to be, talking about gaming news and stuff like that on a more kind of like neutral basis. They are a big company that deals with gaming news, and this came out, and of course, man, it caught fire on social media. I even made a video about it as soon as I saw what was going on, because in my opinion, this was completely unprofessional, coming from a company where people get paid to write articles and to get gaming news out there to the wide spectrum of gamers, from the casual to the hardcore, everywhere in between. And I want to ask the panel, and I'm going to start with the Don here. Don, what did you think about that post? Do you think that was something that should have came out there on Facebook? Do you think that, the people who did this should be kind of like, reprimanded or something like that? What do you think about that situation, man?
Well, the first thing I want is IGN to establish what they are. What are you? Because are you really a media site at this point? Because you're not acting like it. The other thing I would say is you can't really debate that there's not a cultural. I'm going to be very specific on this. A cultural bias that exists within IGN, right? there are some people that thought this was okay. There's a reason.
How can people deny this now? I mean, really?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that debate's over with now. It's over. There is a cultural bias that exists within it. That doesn't represent. When you say cultural bias, it doesn't represent everybody at IGN, right?
No.
But it is the feeling in the room when you walk in regards to that. So it's hard to be. You imagine that environment. It would be hard to be an Xbox fan in any sort of way. And then the fact that they're not even trying to hide it, that there's one thing to kind of joke around in the office and it's your buddies, whatever, right? But when you decide to hit publish on something like this, then it's very obvious that like their gauge of what is considered okay and what's not considered okay is broken at that point. It is so thick within the walls of IGN that they don't see what's wrong with it. That's the problem.
Now,
right?
Don, with you saying about hitting publish, I want to let you know there's people out there that are claiming that it's not necessarily IGN, it's the person that's in charge of their Facebook page and stuff like that. But I feel.
I mean, he holds a huge. Well, the person that did it holds a huge responsibility. Let's not discredit that. Like,
exactly.
They're very responsible for that as well. But what made him think it was okay? They represent the company
themselves, right?
Yeah, my question is, why did he think it was okay?
That's a good point.
So, if it wasn't a certain way at IGN, then maybe that would have set off a red flag before he hit published. That's kind of my take on it. But the fact that there isn't a red flag, that they just did this, it leads me to believe that they don't see it that way anymore, right? The culturally is so, you can taste it. It's just like that right now. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't gone to IGN in a while. I mean, to be honest with you, I used to go there regularly.
Well, I found out in the DM. I don't normally. First off, I don't really hit Facebook that much per se. And somebody sent it to me in a DM, and I couldn't. I thought it was fake at first. I thought they were trying to troll me or whatnot. But it definitely turned out to be real. I do want to give a huge shout out to people in the chat. Jazzy Noob said they are becoming irrelevant by their own hand. And Jazzy, I agree with you 110%. Supersonic Station says that they are not journalists. They are just an opinion clickbait site that is dying fast. Now, I'm not sure about the dying fast part, but
I would say they're dying slowly, but
clickbait is right up that alley.
Right on the point. I mean, exactly. And I think at this point, like, I want IGN to just admit what they are, right? Because that's where it gets a little more toxic, right? Because people want to use them as more of a gospel-like type thing, and they're very neutral, and there is no bias. And at this point, let's cut it out. Like, we know there is a bias. Just be upfront with you guys are PlayStation fans, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's your constitutional right, by the way, to be a PlayStation fan if you want to be, right? So that's fine. Be that person, but if doesn't mean you need to hate on the other platform. That's just not how it works. In regards to that, so that's just kind of my take on it. I expect more from a true publication, and at this point, they have to earn that back.
Some type of professionalism when it comes down to it. To me, that was completely unprofessional, man.
Well, it was unprofessional, but I've said this before. I think they do more things to harm the industry than promote it. Mm-hmm. At this point, and they're just one of those things. Like, I just don't have any respect for it. As I said, I used to go to their site regularly since 1999, the last 6 years, and this is not beginning of this generation. That started with last generation at the tail end. I slowly stopped going to their site because I saw this cultural thing that kind of spilled out into their articles, and I didn't like it. And they got really toxic when this generation started, but the toxicity started previous generation. And I'm the type of person that I encourage people to have their own personal opinions. It's okay. Let's have a healthy conversation about it. That is an okay thing to have. But outside of that, I mean, I don't have time for them. They're just irrelevant to me at this point.
All right, I got you, man. Now, let's go with Predator, the gaming media assassin over here, man. I really want to hear kind of like your opinions on what IGN is doing, and I gotta ask, there's some people out there on social media that are giving this a pass because it was Facebook, so it wasn't necessarily IGN themselves. I want to know what you think about that as well, man.
Facebook didn't post this. IGN posted it. So I mean, like, I don't understand why people would feel that way. So I think it was, you know, if it had came from like a random person, I'd have probably laughed it off and like, man, they got us on that one. But the fact that it came from a media outlet is really what made me more upset, because this is IGN. They're supposed to. We say they're supposed to be neutral. We obviously know they're not.
They get all the passes to see.
And they do. They get a pass, and it's like
oh my goodness, they get.
And like I mentioned last night on Crossfire, it's like, this isn't the first time this has happened with the media outlet.
You said second, really third, fourth.
Yeah, like it's been happening like this whole generation, and like, you know, and I remember tweeting this out that right after, if this would have been Donnie, he'd have been like, all right, you motherfuckers, we're done with you. You know, like there's no repercussions for these companies doing this, because Phil's just a nice guy, you know, and somebody's got to step in and say, look, man, we can't allow this to happen. You know, we can't allow these companies or these media outlets, as people we're giving fucking stories to. We just gave these knuckleheads, what was it? State of Decay 2.
I know, right?
A couple of weeks ago, and they turn around and do this shit. Like, I get it. It's one person that made that decision, but that one person has a lot of responsibilities. And like, I think you said it. What makes that person think it was okay to do that? And the people at IGN should be, hold on a second, Don. The people at IGN should be stepping in and getting in that motherfucker's ass, because you cannot do that to somebody that's paying you. You know what I'm saying? Like a company, Microsoft is paying these people, giving them money and they're asking Microsoft for stories as well. So like, there's supposed to be a mutual relationship there. And if they're going to keep going back and doing stupid shit like this over and over again, Microsoft needs to cut them off. I understand they need their media. They need their media. They need media, but don't
give them
they have to have a conversation
IGN first and stuff like that. Give it to another venue.
Yeah.
Like, yo, go Eurogamer, and then if Eurogamer kind of starts stepping on your toes and stuff like that, go somewhere else, man. Like, you don't have to go to IGN. You don't have to keep bloating them up as like the biggest gaming media out there, man.
The thing is, if they don't blow them up at some point in time, there's going to continuously blow up PlayStation.
And then they're going to put out.
But they're doing that. But they're doing that anyway, right?
They're going to put out little apologies and stuff like that. Like Ryan McCaffrey.
Damage is done. Damage is done.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, all these apologies don't matter once the damage is done, and there's this whole kind of like narrative going out there on social media. Now, you know, you lit the wick, the dynamite's going to blow up no matter what, man.
Well, I want to ask Brett this, because he's been in the military, so he knows that there's consequences if an individual acts out of accord, right?
Yeah, goddamn right. I'd be fucking kicked out the military if I didn't like that.
But not only you be kicked out of the military, but there's consequences to people in the military that stay there, right? Mm. So, you know, yes, there's individuals that do these sort of things, but there should be. I honestly feel like there should be like a code of conduct that they should interact with. I don't know what your views are on that, but that's kind of how I look at it.
You're right, and that's got to come from the top down. When someone in any media outlet does something like this, whether it's someone that has an exclusive deal with The Witcher that comes out and says some stupid shit like this, or EA comes out and says some stupid shit about Microsoft, like, somebody at the top needs to go and knock on that dude's door and be like, yo, man, go ahead and pack your shit, man. You cannot do that. This is Microsoft. They're a huge company. They bring us a lot of revenue. Despite how you feel about them personally, do not put this shit on my fucking page. Do not just put this crap on my fucking media outlet. But we don't ever hear about that. I'm not saying it's not happening, because we don't hear that, though. But the fact is, the damage is done. And that now it's already out on social. It made it worse that we retweeted it.
Predator, even on Xbox's side, like, you're talking about somebody knocking on their door and stuff like that. Now, I agree with the fact when Xbox goes out and they congratulate, you know, other developers, even, you know, games on other platforms, I have no problem with that. But when it comes down to stuff like this, I feel that even Xbox, they need to put their foot down and be like, all right, well, guess what? Now you're not having this first for IGN. You're not doing this. You're not getting this interview. We're going this way now. And stuff like that. They got to know that there's repercussions to putting this kind of like this console war bullshit out there, man.
Well, I would really like for Phil to have come out on Twitter and just said something like, okay, well, thank you, IGN, for your honest opinion.
We're putting IGN in the corner right now.
I mean, like, but no, not even like this. Phil's a nice guy. He's not gonna come out and like, fuck you, IGN, but like something like subtle, you know, like something that lets him know, that lets IGN know that he saw that and he's not happy with it, and to say something like kind of like, you know, subliminal, you know, to make him think like, oh fuck, we kind of fucked up. But like and again, I don't know if he picked up the red line and called somebody over in IGN directly, but like if he would have done something like that on social media, imagine the impact.
Yeah, it would be crazy, dude.
It'd be if he'd have came out and fucking called IGN out for that shit. That would have been, I think that would have had a lot more of an impact than us just sitting here wondering if he did anything at all.
You could be pro gamer and everything like that and congratulate people on their games coming out and stuff, but you don't need to basically swallow shit from gaming media. You don't need to do it. Yeah.
It's one of those things. I think that they need to understand their games are bigger than IGN.
Yeah,
they have to come to that terminology. You know, they use these outlets to get their word out, right? But let's be honest, they're going to review their games however they feel like, regardless if they give them a free copy or not, or they give them early access. Mm-hmm. They're going to give them the review that they want to give it, regardless. I think it's all been out there. We all know they have a history with this, right? Mm-hmm. So reach out to people, and it doesn't mean you have to find a bunch of yes men, but yet let other people grow. Is the way I would look at it. Is if they're not interested in being professional, then find somebody that is going to be professional about it, and let them grow.
Yo, so Shady, you are grimy for that. He's like, I'd say pull advertising, but there's none. Zing, I'll see myself out.
but he's on point. There's the advertising. And it makes you wonder too, like if there's not as much advertising, does it have a heavy influence in reviews now? You know, it makes you question that because they haven't been heavily advertising this whole entire generation. And you see what type of reviews they have. Now, people are going to say it was because of the quality of the games, and that's fine. You know, like people get to their own opinion on that. But it does make me kind of wonder if, you know, unless I'm a really good friend at somebody at a particular media outlet source, or if I paid a ton of advertising, is it really worth reaching out to these people? Because it may not be the most positive review on a product I might be working on. So,
Daz, I am telling your wife, by the way. I'm just letting you know that I am equal opportunity, and I am telling your wife what you are saying right now. Yo, Mega, like you've been pretty quiet here. I know you're letting Don and Predator kind of air this stuff out, but man, I know we're on multiple shows, so we have a tendency to kind of say what we think, but in different ways and stuff. But what do you think about this whole IGN thing? Is enough now? Should Xbox kind of show that there are repercussions when they put this kind of like console war BS out there on social media, man?
Yeah, for my GRG brethren that's in the chat out there, it would be ejecto seat cut. I send they ass out. Look, it'd be over. This is the thing right here, right? Like, I'll defend Killer Phil and all that, and you know what I'm saying, being a nice guy is cool, and being a gamer is all right. But I agree with Pred. I agree with everybody on here. It's like, look, you didn't have to say anything negative, but you could have let them be aware that you've seen this. And then once you've seen that, and once they've seen that, like Pred said, then that would probably have a lot more, a lot more things go, a lot of exuberance or a lot of excitement amongst the fans from Xbox to actually say to themselves, oh, damn, you know what? Well, Phil is listening. That's what we want to see. That's what we're talking about. Not because they want him to go and do the Donnie D and want to go out there and go savage or nothing, but it's the fact that he would acknowledge that. And he could have got on the phone or had somebody call somebody. But like Fred said again, nobody doesn't know that. And when you see things that's going on, I know we'll get to that here later, where they're talking about playing other different games on a mixer and stuff like that. It still gives this false narrative that Xbox is not caring about the Xbox fan. And it seems like a lot of people that are diehard Xbox fans are left in limbo, and they're over here defending. And it seems like that island is getting smaller and smaller because everything around them seems like it's breaking, because there just seem like to be anybody from anywhere else from the higher ups to give any type of indication that they're hearing all the bullshit that's going on in social media. And for IGN themselves, they have been irrelevant for a long time. I haven't really watched anything of what they do except
but they still have subscribers, man. They still have thousands.
Yeah, I know that. I know that.
Fans, all 75 million.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Most of them are people that are just, that are people that just go to them for the news, and then there's their diehards. But there is really no Xbox diehards that goes check IGN or GameSpot. I couldn't tell you when the last time I seen that one British chick that I think she's British or she's Australian, whatever the hell she is, that does like the weekly thing for GameSpot. I used to watch her all the time. But the more and more that you watch this stuff and you see that they take little snarky shots at a company that you primarily enjoy more than the others, it makes you feel a certain type of way. And people can say whatever. Well, that's you being a fanboy. Well, that's fine. I am a fanboy. I'm a fan of Xbox. I'm a fan of everything. But yeah, my primary go-to console is the Xbox, and it's no different than any sports team or anything else. Like if you've seen a news outlet that's over here bashing the team that you like, you're not going to listen to them. You're going to go somewhere else. And I think it's time that other people start making some other type of safe ways, making a different type of entertainment for people that maybe are just neutral or something, because IGN is trash now.
Well, Megan, you just made a good point, because I'm not really big in politics or anything like that, but if you go to CNN, you get one perspective. You go to Fox, you get another perspective of how things are going on in the world, right? IGN has their perspective and it totally is biased towards PlayStation, but we don't typically have one that we can go to that's biased toward Xbox. We don't have an outlet like that.
We used to.
Yeah, we used to.
And what I would say is the community of people that play Xbox is much bigger than these outlets. But people don't realize this. But when the community fights amongst itself, like, you can have different opinions, and that's totally fine.
Right.
But when the community fights against itself and it's not willing to have a peaceful conversation about different views and different opinions, then there is no voice.
And we're all unhappy. That's why.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And so
we're all collectively unhappy about certain things. I don't think people are on the same page, and that's fine. I mean, that's could be, we can chalk that up to some of the fault of not getting information about what's going on with Xbox down the road. And I'm, even though I'm a pro fan of how it's being handled right now, I'm willing to admit the cons of doing something like that. So, that's the thing, is you guys as a community is much bigger than any outlet. You have more influence than any of these outlets. But the problem is, you fight amongst yourselves in just kind of a way that's somewhat disrespectful, and it ruins that for you guys. Well, ruins that voice that you could have.
Right, but check this out, right? With the marketing thing, it doesn't have to be where you see a commercial about video games, like how PlayStation will throw something out or whatever. It was last week. I seen the first Transformers. I was just so happy to just turn the channel, and I just sat there and watched the first Transformers towards the end of it. And there was a scene where the dude was running, and he had that box, that cube, and he ran and he turned everything into like a little transformer. And there was an Xbox 360 right there, and the Xbox 360 turned into a little transformer and started shooting.
Yeah, a little Decepticon, right?
Yeah, it was a little Decepticon. And see stuff, little subtle things like that, because people, you go see those things in movies and see those things in other places, or commercials of, like, not even gaming commercials, but something where you see kids playing an Xbox controller. Those things resonate because people see that there's some kind of relation to it. You see what I'm saying? So
I can see that.
That's where they need to go for advertising on that aspect. Of course, social media does a lot of it, but when you count on the IGNs and the GameSpots and places like that, and that they're heavily pro PlayStation, you have to start finding other avenues to help start sponsoring your stuff because it's not working. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be nice isn't working. Trying to just go ahead and suck it up and try to bring out these games and hope that they're going to give a better review. It's not going to happen. They talked about Cuphead and gave Cuphead a lot of love in articles. They didn't go out and do the same thing with Cuphead like they did with God of War. Of course, we know it's not the same type of tier of game.
Cuphead, Ori and the Blind Forest,
right.
Sunset Overdrive, even
right.
Quantum Break, which was not a perfect game, but it was something that was innovative, something that we didn't see, from in past generations and stuff like that. And they didn't give those the quality that they deserved, man.
No, it didn't. And that's the thing that I'm trying to say. Like it's gotten overboard. And now it's enough is enough because you don't see those naysayers that was always popping up and saying, "Oh man, the media, guys, the media is being biased to the Xbox." No, it's not that. The media has always been biased to something to some sort. No, the media I've never in my life seen any article. And somebody can maybe show me something from Europe or some shit like that. I'm talking about from when I was looking at Nintendo Power, watching stuff from the Xbox magazine, from Game Informer, all that shit. Never seen anything advertised with what we seen with IGN did on Facebook. That shit was atrocious. That is not professional. That is where you have to draw the line and say enough is enough. We ain't tolerating this shit no more. We got to get respected here because it's our money that's going into your help funding your shit. It's also our product that's help funding your shit because people still watch it. You get clicks, you get money off of that. So stop the shit now or there will be problems. That's how it's got to be. If not, then I have to agree with everybody else is saying that the Xbox staff is being weak. And you know how I don't want to say that, but it looks pretty bad when you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, when you talk about the Xbox staff, let's switch this over because K-Mega, you actually touched on this a couple times. Our boy Mikey Barra, who is a higher up in the Xbox division, he has his own Mixer channel, and he plays a lot of games. I actually spent a lot of time when Sea of Thieves came out. Mikey Barra was playing Sea of Thieves, and I was in there talking to him. He even shouted out the podcast, everything like that. I think it was yesterday, he put up that, he was asking, people who follow his streams, people who chime in or whatnot, he was asking them what he should play. And I guess, a big reaction was God of War. So he started streaming God of War today on his Mixer channel. And there was such a huge, uproar when it came to this whole thing, saying that he is an Xbox executive, that he should be repping Xbox 24/7. If you're out there in the public, you shouldn't be playing your competitors' new IP. You should be, supporting Xbox and playing Xbox games and stuff like that. Now, Mega, I gotta ask you, what do you think about this, man? Because it is his own personal Mixer channel. But what do you think, man?
Look, as what I was gonna just say about about how the Xbox staff need to get it together with showing, I guess, Xbox fans that they're willing to stand up for themselves and for Xbox fans. Again, this man is doing his own thing. There was people that voted for God of War. So what is he supposed to do? Oh no! I can't play that. I can't play that. I can't play that, man. No, dog. I can't do that, man. Can we pick another game? That was a typo. No, this man is a grown man. This game is one of the hottest games that's out right now, and people want to see it. Xbox fans want to see it too. Mixer is it's owned by Microsoft, but it is in competition with Twitch, and Twitch shows everything. Mixer shows everything. So why the hell are you mad about that? Look, this is a whole different animal. When we went to last year and we had that discussion about Xbox promoting Horizon Zero Dawn and Nintendo, I was all in agreement with everybody on the panel saying, now that's trash when Halo Wars 2 is right there and it's a dope ass game and it should be heavily promoted by these people. Now on this one, the hardcore has just got it wrong on this one. Let that man play the games that people want to see. It was a poll, and the poll was overwhelmingly for God of War. So he has to show it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's what the poll was for. And that just shows good gamingship to everybody that look. You know what I'm saying? We know that, overall that God of War is this hot title, and, the haters of Xbox feel that we're getting our teeth kicked in, but we're still being what we all
I don't understand about getting our teeth kicked in, though, because, all right, what happened?
Well, I said that's what the haters say. I'm not saying for us. Yeah, I mean, but that's what the haters will say. And then also, like, I mean, when I defended Mike, I was basically just saying, look, the man, he's a grown man. This is his game. This is what he do. He paid his money for it or whatever. But this is his shit.
I don't think he paid for that.
We're losing, Mega. We're losing. No, we're not losing anything. You are letting the outside noise get to you, and that's the problem with all this racket, is that you listen to it too goddamn much instead of enjoying what you have. If you love the X and you love the games that you have on it, you love backwards compatibility, you love Sea Thieves, you can't wait for State of Decay 2, then damn it, that's what you are supposed to be excited for. Who gives a fuck what the other side thinks about it? Because they're on social media waiting for you to respond to that trash.
Exactly. Dude.
So again, you know what I'm saying? It's all on the people that listens to this trash, the feeling that Xbox is in a really bad state and that they're not going to bring any games because we have God of War. After about a month or two, or you know what I'm saying, after a month or two, because as much as I'm anticipating Detroit, there ain't gonna be too many people hyping up Detroit. Everybody's just gonna keep hyping up Spider-Man, and then the shit will start all over again when Spider-Man comes out. And I think that we have to really understand that this is just the norm, and you just have to get over it. You know what I'm saying? Let these people play the games that they want to play. And trust me, if you don't think that Yoshida and staff from PlayStation is not playing Xbox games, then you would be sadly mistaken. They're not in there. They're not saying anything.
Well, they don't have their own streaming platform either to try to promote it to rival Twitch or anything like that, man.
Right. So I mean, look, I understand what I get what the hardcore was saying. I do, because it has this bad vibe, this bad taste to it. I do agree with that, right? To a certain extent, but again, the hardcore doesn't need to be listened to all the time because we are too nitpicky. We as the hardcore nitpick too damn much, and really, who is the true money makers are the casuals. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that they're
out there playing Fortnite like crazy right now.
Yeah, they're the ones that generate the most money. They're the ones that's going to push and propel these consoles to the heights of where they actually are. But they're not loyal. You know what I'm saying? I say that there should be a balance where your hardcore gets satisfied with a couple of things, and that the casuals get satisfied with a couple of things. But don't go after this man because he made a poll and the public chose. That's not right.
Yeah, no, and you know, when it comes to him being higher up in Xbox as an executive or whatnot, he can do things like he can stream like State of Decay 2 early or something like that, but he doesn't need to strictly stay Xbox platform on a streaming platform. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they're competing with Twitch as well. You know, you got this Microsoft all-in-one same direction type thing going on. They acquired Mixer, so they want to be competitive there. They want to be competitive on the game front as well. But at the end of the day, it's his own personal account. He can play whatever the hell he wants. I don't see anybody bitching at Mikey Barra when he's playing games on PC. You know what I'm saying? I don't see anybody making this huge thing.
There are people that hate the fact.
But not to this wave, dude. Not to this wave.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, that's not free for me either. I'm just saying, like.
Well, in social media, there's so many people out there that you are gonna get like the best and worst. But when you see this like huge wave go forward and this narrative being developed that I feel is absolutely unfair to Mike himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a gamer at heart. Let him play his games. The biggest concern I had when Phil Spencer got in charge and everything like that, and I started looking more into Phil Spencer and Mikey Barra, the only concern I had, because they started with that whole play anywhere, cross-play thing, was I was like, I see these guys being PC gamers a lot. I hope they understand the environment of the console gamer, kind of like, you know, that whole environment, and I hope they don't bring kind of like that that negative PC gaming aspect over to the console. Like, that was my whole big thing. But when it comes to his channel, let him play whatever the hell he wants to play, whatever his supporters are asking for him to play. I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer, yo. Don, what do you think, dude?
It's important for anybody that's in his position to actually play what the competition is doing and be self-aware what they're doing.
Right.
Now, it is a little bit different. I get it that he's advertising on Mixer. There's a different expectation people have with him. I understand that perspective.
I can tell you right now, he didn't really like Sea of Thieves. I can tell you that right now.
Well, that's fine, and he's allowed to. You know, he's not going to like everything on the platform. I mean, here's the thing: Xbox is one of the most diverse platforms out there. So, by default, you're going to have things you don't like on that platform. It's just simple as that. So, you know, for him, I get where he's coming from. I get where the individuals that want something different out of Mike, and they want him to champion everything. But, you know, he's champion Mixer. He's spending his free time doing what he wants. But the same token, this shouldn't be a fight between both sides of the argument.
No.
Like, it shouldn't be either way. Like, you know, sometimes people use these situations as opportunity, right? And I'll let people just kind of judge for themselves how they take that from between, you know, individuals that are arguing in that Discord. And there's some people that, you know, they're expressing themselves how they really feel, and I think there's a fundamental difference there. You know, if you do it in a respectful way, you know, there's nothing wrong with having, you know, telling Mike, you know, how you feel about it. But you have to do it in a respectful way.
Well, with you saying a respectful way, I think Crap Gamer handled himself really well in that whole conversation. There were other people coming in and trying to take jabs here and there, but you know, Crap was talking, and Crap shared his opinion. I don't think he was like I don't think he was rude or whatnot.
No, I don't think it was rude either. But like, I'm not even gonna get into that because there's other conversations that were in there as well.
Yeah,
like,
there was some crazy.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
But then, you know, at what point, like, you know, it would suck for me. Like, this is a fear of mine, right? Say I get a good audience, people love something I've put out, right? And I'm a known personality out there because of that. And it would suck that I couldn't just play another game and interact with the community out there. That would be awful. Like, that sucks. But what's even worse is I have to think about the repercussions of the community fighting over it. And like, that takes all the fun out of it. Like, you know, he just wants to have fun just like the rest of us.
Yeah, I
know. And so to see people argue like that, like, it's just, it sucks. There's no way around it. Like, there's no need for that. We shouldn't be treating each other like that. You know, it's one thing to express yourself, but to take jabs, I think there's a fine line there that you know, people have to kind of judge for themselves if they were out of line or not, and that's, you know, that's kind of their call to make. So
they heard me typing. I was putting the poll up for the best gameplay because it ran through. And everything like that. So I'm sorry about the typing, guys. I didn't want to mute my mic because then it'd take me a second to unmute. But you know, it's absolutely crazy to me. I don't know, you know, Predator. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you think it's warranted for people to be like, dude, you should be playing Xbox games? What are you doing playing a PlayStation exclusive on your own Mixer channel, dude? That's not right.
I'm kind of like neutral on this one. On one part, as a gamer,
neutral though.
No, I'm not the king of neutralness. One part of me is like, as a gamer, I'm like, I don't really give a shit. You know, like you're even though you're a Microsoft exec, you're still your own man, and you're actually promoting Mixer within the company that Microsoft owns. So it's not really a big deal to me. But then I look in light of everything going on with the division of Microsoft, Xbox, and then to have this, like, you know, an exec playing, advertising this game on Mixer, and you know, it'd be different if it was somebody else, like, you know, it's like a little peon or something like that from the Microsoft community.
No, this is a big guy though.
Yeah, it's the one of the head honchos out there. So, and it kind of goes back to our last little segment where we're like, have some balls, I guess, but I've watched his streams, man. He's entertaining, and he's, because like one of the games I got into because of him was PUBG. I was on the fence about getting it on the PC, and he played it religiously, so I got it. And so I can't knock the guy for playing the game he wants to play. I mean, he's not playing in the capacity of Xbox as the head of Xbox. He's playing it as a gamer. So I'm kind of torn. I think, like, with everything and the shitty like negativity going on with the community right now, this just adds more salt to the wound. But overall, I really don't care. I really don't give a shit. I mean, like, he wants to play a game, play. I've not seen any of the feedback or any of the negative comments other than maybe like a couple, one or two here or there on Twitter.
You may have to take a shower afterwards. It's filthy.
Yeah, and like I've been too busy playing games today. So like I didn't care. It wasn't a big deal to me. So like even if I read those comments, it still wouldn't change my opinion. I have to like I said, I have to step back and say, okay, well, he's not playing it as, Mikey Barra, the head of Xbox, or one of the heads of Xbox. He's playing as Mikey Barra, the fan.
He's playing as Quick, man. That's his name, Quick.
Yeah, he's playing as a fan of the game, or a fan of gaming. So you really can't knock that, because that's one of the things that we kind of say in the community. It's about the games. So if he's playing that game, and he's played other Xbox games as well, so it's not a big deal to me. I don't really give a shit. So let that man do what he wants to do. Let him play some games and just, chill the fuck out. He'll play this game he'll probably stream this game once or twice and move on and go on to something else. So it's just one game.
He'll end up being back on PUBG.
He was actually on it today. I saw he
was playing it today. Yeah, I saw that.
Dude, PUBG, like that if you opened up a vein from Mikey Barra, PUBG would come out. No lie, dude.
And that makes you wonder if he did that because he wanted to, or he did that because he was like, you got to get the fuck off that game right now. Like, I don't know what the stream looked like on Mixer and what was being said in the actual Mixer stream.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That does that get toxic for him?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't watch it, so I don't know. But
yeah, he better play that in the privacy of his own time.
You want to play? You better not advertise that
closet that he got over there with the TV and the system, and play it without anybody knowing. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. It's just like
it is.
It's the fact that when people are like, well, like with God of War in the reviews, like you gotta love this game. Why aren't you hyped to get this game? Why aren't you getting this game? Like, at the end of the day, everybody is a gamer. They play what they want to play. If you take that away from people, no matter what their occupation is, like, you're taking away the essence of being a gamer, yo.
And here's the bad part about this. Like, when I said I was kind of on the fence, like, I know a lot of the Xbox execs, they're gamers, right? Yeah. I don't really hear, anybody on PlayStation or the Sony side doing something like this. Like, maybe they do have an Xbox.
They don't own their own streaming platform either.
Do they play games?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like, that's the question. Like, you don't know if those execs really do play games. They don't publicly put that out there, right?
I remember that picture of, and I remember tweeting this out when it happened, like that picture of is his name Phil's or whatever, Reggie or whatever from Nintendo, when they had it revealed the X or the S or whatever, they had the image of it. He's sitting there staring at it, like that's the first time I've actually even seen another exec, like, or now you might hear about it every now and then, like a E3 or something like that, where like the Sony execs or maybe the Nintendo execs are actually checking out the other console. But outside of that, I've never heard of them ever picking up the other competitor's console whatsoever, ever.
I mean, it happens on different fronts, right? They don't ever put it out there, but they absolutely do play each other's consoles, not from a, let's say, not even from a fan perspective, right, of just enjoying games, but part of your job is to see what the competitor is doing. Right.
Yeah, but they're not doing it again. Like you said, gamers though. Like, are they just doing it because they like enjoy games? Like Phil probably. I mean, Donnie probably picked up a fucking PlayStation just to see, like, on that aspect. The point you're making, yes.
Yeah.
But, like, are those knuckleheads on the other two competitors? Are they actually picking it up because they know shit? Can't wait to play Halo. Like. but we do it on the Xbox side all the time.
Well, here's the thing: is Mikey. Like I don't know how many times I see Mikey advertising something for back compat, or especially things that he's involved with heavily, because he's part. I think he does have influence on those other teams, and he advertises that stuff all the time, but it doesn't carry nearly as much weight as when he plays a competitor's product on Mixer. Does that make sense? So, like, his perspective is always going to be, I think, different from the public perspective, right? He goes like, yeah, I just advertised 10 things I just worked on Twitter this week, right? Hey, I'm going to throw up a poll to play a game, and I play one game, and then it blows up on me. So, proportionally, if you look at Mikey's tweets, the majority of what he talks about is Xbox, but occasionally it's sprinkled in with just a little bit of something else. And I think just the weight that carries sometimes is a little heavier than what people would actually want. So,
well, at the end of the day, he's promoting Mixer, which I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm sure God of War probably used Havoc or Simply Gone. So, like, Microsoft's making their bread some way, somehow, this game. So,
it's kind of amazing when it comes to Microsoft. It seems like they at least have a pinky finger in just about every game that comes out, man. It's crazy right now, dude.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like, again, I don't know if they actually use Havoc or Simply Gone for this game, but a lot of the other hot titles that came out this year,
they still get a cut even if they didn't have those things. Just so you guys know, like, there's a lot of stuff they got their hands in that people don't realize.
Yeah, a lot of patents and trademarks and stuff like that.
That's the thing about Microsoft. That's the one reason why
from the inside.
Yeah, that's why they're promoting and being all about this kumbaya type of thing, because they know what they have invested their money in, and what I'm saying, the more that people want to try to say that Microsoft is dying and this and that, hey, for whatever product that you're buying for certain games, Xbox is probably getting some kind of percentage of it. And so that it's really, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I get what people are saying, but again, man, this is a business. And if Sony was doing the same thing, if Sony was doing the opposite, or I mean, not the opposite, but doing the same thing that Microsoft was doing, getting involved into a lot of having their hands in the cookie jar, per se, in the gaming industry, you best believe Sony is going to be doing the same thing and saying, hey, enjoy Xbox. So everybody love gaming because they know that they're going to get some kind of some kind of dollar out of that. So.
Well, and then also invest into the talent that's there, right? So you know that it sends a clear message from an employer standpoint that higher ups at Microsoft are not going to hate you because you work on a competitor's project. I mean, there are people that work at 343 that worked on the last two God of Wars, not this one, that I know personally, and they came from Santa Monica Studios. So these talents get pushed around as far as that goes, and so you always have to have that one door open for talent to come working at your studios. And if you are shitting constantly on someone else's game, and I understand from the end user of the community standpoint, but I also look at it from the other perspective, like, you want the best talent working on your games, and regardless if you're into this God of War or not, can't say there weren't talented people that worked on that game. There's definitely some of the most talented people in the industry that worked on that game, and you want to have those relationships with those people because you never know when you're going to have to work with them. So
see, and that's one of the things, man, with the Don being an indie developer, bringing that side of the story into it, because if you think about it, Don, they got the game done, it's out now, so those developers that are kind of developers for hire and stuff like that, they should be kind of like leaving Santa Monica like right about now, right?
Well, even before then. So like, there's a certain point, like, if you work on graphics or sound, there's a certain point where they slap you on the wrist and say, stop touching things, because we have to fix things and make it an actual game, right? So those people, they could have been brought on later in the project, just contract work, and the contract's up at that point, and they can be hired at somewhere else. I mean, I know certain people do contract work, and you would have never known they worked on 4 competing titles that, from different years and stuff like that. But you would look at them as competitors along those lines. So it's just, you kind of have your foot door open. That's one of the things that Microsoft, I feel, is really working on the most, is that developer relationship.
I think that's one of the things they need to work on the most since, like, what happened at the beginning of this generation, man.
Exactly. Well, or the tail end of last, right? I mean, it's all part of it. So, I mean, yeah.
Our boy Z loves him, by the way.
Yeah, I know he does love him, but like,
he's on the wrong side.
or you can look at the total work of what he's done, right? There's good and there's bad with any sort of leadership, right? So
he made the company money, man. He's the one, like, if people remember at the end of the 360 era when they started putting advertisements and stuff like that.
He was real good with that.
Yeah, he was good with that. Yeah.
You see, what he's really good at is condensing anything that could be considered bloated within a company, condensing that, still making it profitable. But I don't think his business models or anything that he does is, like, I would consider sustainable. It just gets immediate results, and that's what he's really good at. And to a certain degree, that's, I think, if you look at Microsoft, what they could use a little bit of. They got a good long game, I think, but they need to know how to address the short game as well. Yeah, short game is a problem, right? And that's where Donnie D was really good, is in a short game. And I'll give him credit where credit's due. That's where he was really good. But that's not sustainable, and that's what we're seeing the repercussions of now. So they have a long game. We'll see what Microsoft's doing. I'm excited for E3.
I like the whole short game, long game thing, because if you think about it, think in terms of baseball. Short game is your closer, right? Which is really good at points in time, but you don't want your closer starting off in your first inning, because it's not going to last. You're not going to have that pitcher all the way through 7 or 8 innings or whatnot. That's where you need that long game, is the majority of the actual competition, man. Yeah,
and I think that's, if I was to have any criticism of Microsoft, they don't know how the short game. I feel like them going quiet and dark about everything for so long, and we haven't heard anything from that, actually was part of their long game, and this is just kind of all part of the plan. And what we're going to see this E3, we're going to have a better understanding of it. I think that plan is somewhat changed, and we'll see how all that pans out. But they have a long game. That's what Phil's doing. Like, a lot of times, like, you had to close a couple studios. People think that software has nothing to do with hardware. Well, guess what? It still has to do with the Xbox division and how funds are allocated. Mm-hmm. And a new console or a mid-gen console can be just as easily canceled as a software title, right? So people need to take a step back and say, I would say Phil is a straight shooter. I don't think he talks in maybe riddles because he talks from behind the scenes, but he doesn't, he's straight shooter what he's telling you and how he feels and how he views things, and he's learning. I mean, it is what it is. So, like, E3 is going to be exciting. I heard we're going to get new stuff from PlayStation as well. So we get to see new stuff at E3, and no one's criticizing EA right now for not showing what the roadmap is for next year before E3. No one's criticizing any other third party. It's just Microsoft is the only one that's being criticized about it. And they already told us what they were going to do, so I don't understand where all the hate's coming from, to be honest with you.
Dude, I feel like there's a negative narrative that was put out there. It was seeded in social media by people who really like to hate. And unfortunately, I feel like people within the gaming community, within the Xbox community, they picked up that seed and they helped cultivate it more. I don't see the doom and gloom that a lot of people are talking about. I'm really excited for E3 because, like Don said, Phil Spencer is learning. He thought he can do things one way when it came to E3 in terms of their what they show on stage. They're like, we're only doing this like a year. He realized that you have to tease it a little bit more. And you look at this year's E3, they have their own building. I don't think they would have their own building to show off Scream Ride 2. All right.
Well, the other thing too is they're gonna have a diverse portfolio. That's always been a goal for Phil since he's been there. So there's going to be things that they're not going to be the graphically intensive, like narrative stuff. That's not for you. That's fine. As long as they have stuff that's for you, I think that's where we kind of have to leave it. As far as that goes.
Brian Baker, Blades in the chat. He has been
He's
on fire all night. Yeah. Mr. Positivity.
Speaking on fire, yeah. Hey man, the first two, you can say what you want to about Nier Automata, but the first two games, fire. MK9. Tell me when's the last time y'all seen that, and then also Redeemer. You know what I'm saying?
My Prey gameplay got you all choked up though, man.
It did. It's serious. That Prey hit my heartstrings. But you know what? Hey,
you did a good job. You did a good job when K Mega goes, you know what? I need to go back and play that when it's your gameplay. Like
yeah. But you know what I'm saying? But Redeemer, that's the winner right there.
Was that that camera that over the head?
That's Redeemer.
I was wondering what that game was, man.
Yeah, it's Redeemer. It's a fun ass game. It is dope. Anyway.
Well, guys, I had it on the topics to talk about this E3 leak. I'm pretty sure everybody on the panel, did you see it? I know Predator, I gave you a shout out in my video because you sent it to me in a DM. I had to translate it. It's all information from 4chan, but instead of going in on exactly the games and stuff like that, I don't know, maybe just real quickly before we kind of sign off, E3 leaks are starting again, man. I'm excited. Is there anything like from that leak, and we'll go down the panel just real quickly, anything that anybody thinks is true? So, Predator, you sent it to me. Why don't you go first, man? Is there anything on there? Because it did actually come from 4chan, the website. So it's very skeptical all the way through. But do you think there's anything in there that's true, man?
Let me see. Forza.
Well, besides the stuff we know, man. Like there was like this Halo Genesis. There was Electric something or other, the kart racing game.
We've heard about that too. I mean, the kart racing thing may be true. I think like one of the biggest takeaways for me out of that was the stuff they said coming to Game Pass. I think that might be a bit of a stretch, but I mean, it might be their way of marketing now. That instead of getting marketing deals like that, putting them on Game Pass would make more sense. I mean, if they can get some of those games on Game Pass day and date, woo, that'd be like a game changer. I
think they could get Tomb Raider. I think they could get Tomb Raider in Game Pass, man.
I think they'd have to put a lot of money into it instead of doing like again. It's probably cheaper to do a 1-year deal with Game Pass than it is to do the whole game
full
forever.
Exclusive.
Yeah. And maybe even if it's like 3 or 4 months, something like that. And again, like gamers aren't gonna like that because they want to be able to play everything. And I don't think Phil's mindset is set like that to keep something away from another console. I think he said something along those lines in the past. But like that was my biggest takeaway out of all the games that may or may not come. I don't really want to see them come on stage and announce a Scream Ride 2. I don't think that's a good place for that. But
see, I see potential in Scream Ride. I don't think it's a banger though, but it's something.
Let's put it this way: if let's just play shits and giggles for a minute. If that was true, if that whole bullshit leak was true, I would be severely disappointed.
So you don't want Scream Ride VR?
I don't want Scream Ride, period. I mean, like, I want VR. I would try that out. But if it came with Scream Ride for free, fuck it. I'll deal with it. But, like, that leak, supposedly, if those were the games coming out, we already lost E3. So, like, I don't think there's anything in, like, I think everyone's looking for a home run hit,
do you think Xbox can really satisfy the majority of people at E3 this year? Do you think that they can literally put out stuff that everybody would get into and there wouldn't be
it isn't even about trying to please everybody. I think really right now what they need to do is please their hardcore.
Right.
Because they've been sitting here trying to fucking play kumbaya and pleasing everybody else but us. Because like I said earlier in this podcast,
sounds salty there, man. Everybody but us, man.
Everybody but us, because like we're the hardcore, right? So like we sat here and we have voiced our opinions multiple times on games we want to see, and we've not seen them in over 2-3 years.
I got Crackdown. That's what I wanted.
And you ain't got that yet, have you?
Oh, it's coming.
So I mean, yeah, but it was supposed to be coming like a year ago, 2 years ago. We haven't even got the fucking beta for it yet. But like, yeah, I
but
get
I'm
it.
not gonna
It's
react
coming.
to something's delayed. I mean, I know
Yeah,
that's
and I don't expect anybody to react to a delay, right? But okay, after all the negative press has come through with Xbox this entire generation, from the even if you don't take it as being negative, it's stuff they've done, and they've divided the community, right? Game Pass, putting stuff on Windows 10, playing this Kumbaya role, canceling Scalebound and Fable, like all that stuff has been.
They had to cancel Scalebound, man.
And you know what? Whether right or wrong, at the end of the day, it's still news and it's still negative press, right?
Yeah, it's fair.
It still looks bad, and they've not done for us. They've been sticking through this console from the Connect days till now, right? The hardcore. What have we gotten that we've been able to go and say, oh? And I've said this in the past. I'm gonna say it again, probably like another 30 times. We're waiting for that fucking jump for joy, fucking, oh my God, I can't believe they did this moment, and we've not gotten it yet. And as we watch, stupid ass Nintendo bullshit, and they're hyping up, their little press conference they did last couple of months ago. They can announce, Sony can announce whatever the fucking games they want to, and people are jumping up and down and crying and shit like that. But we have not had that moment. We haven't had that moment.
Multiplats.
Yeah, we haven't.
Yeah, multiplats though.
We haven't had that though. We've not had that moment. We've not been like, oh shit, fucking Fable, yeah.
No, when I saw Scalebound, I was on fucking 9, Jack. I don't know what you was talking about.
But you never okay, think back of all the franchises that Microsoft has right now, with the exception of Halo, Forza, and Gears. We get those all the damn time.
But they count.
What's that?
But they count.
I know they do count.
I hear the argument.
I'm tired of hearing that shit too.
No, hold on. We expect those though. We expect those.
Okay.
What are we not expecting? Like, right, bring us something we're not expecting and surprise us with something that we've been asking for, because we know we're going to get Halo, Force, and Gears. We already know that. That's a given. But like, I'm using Conquer as an example, but I don't really care for Conquer that much. But like, that's one of the games we've been asking for, right? We've been asking for a Fable. We've been asking for a Perfect Dark. We've been asking for all these other games, and we've heard all these rumors, and we just set ourselves up, get let down, and they never deliver. They have to deliver this year.
What is up, Michael? Yo, thank you. Thank you, brother, for supporting the channel, for supporting this show. I really, really do appreciate it, man. I think at the end of the day, like, you got to count the Halo, you got to count, the Gears, you got to count the Forzas, but, and we've had new IPs when it comes to Sunset Overdrive, when it comes, even the smaller titles like Ori. Ori could qualify as one of the best games this generation, and it was a smaller title, which is absolutely amazing in my opinion. Like, that is one thing. The sequel that's coming out, I cannot wait to get my hands on that. And I feel like when it came to the other new IPs, like the Sunset Overdrives, the Quantum Breaks, I want to see sequels on those fronts as well, so I can see where they would improve on, these new IPs. Because no new IP ever comes out perfect. It's always like the sequel where you see them go in and tweak it according to the consumers, according to the gamers. That's why I feel like a lot of new IPs, they do deserve sequels. And then if the sequels bust, then you move on. But until then, you have had new IPs, this generation, and I want to see sequels to them.
Well, yeah, the new IPs we've had this generation, I think the only sequel we've gotten so far, even announced, is Ori.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they're teasing Recore as well in some areas.
Yeah, they're teasing Recore as well. And there's been a lot of teases of Quantum Break, but I don't know. But I think that's the thing right there. I don't know. I think what Pred is talking about with an old shit moment, but see, this is where it's going to. This is, again, the people in the ear. The old shit moment, I think that Pred's talking about is if they show a Sunset Overdrive 2, or if they show a Rise 2, or they show a Quantum Break 2. Showing that they are still committed, even though this was a down generation for Xbox, but they were still committed to these IPs. And I know for sure that would be an oh shit moment. Fable is coming. So and you know what I'm saying, Joanna Dark is coming.
Could you imagine how people would react if they announced like a Alan Wake 2?
You know what? I don't know if that week. I mean, people would be excited about
Alan
it.
Wake was a cult.
Yeah,
success,
I don't think if they came up and showed Splinter Cell and said Splinter Cell was an exclusive, that would be an oh shit moment, right?
Yeah.
Now if the Game Pass stuff is anywhere near truthful, which that was something that we brought up a couple of months ago, and I was saying, like, you know, hypothetically, like, because the games at that time was Dragon Ball Z Fighters and Monster Hunter, if you can get those publishers to go ahead and put their games on their short term on Game Pass, that would be a game changer. And I think there's some validity to this. I think that they really are going to get. Like I said, I see.
You're gonna get third party on there, man.
I do see Borderlands being. I can see it. Borderlands being a Game Pass game. I don't know why, but it's just something about that game that just makes me think, yeah, I can see that game going on Game Pass, even though it would sell. But again, the oh shit moments would still be shot down because you know what they'll say? You know what they'll say? If they bring Rise 2, I'm going to do my big ass
until it comes on PlayStation.
Cartwheel. My big ass will do a cartwheel. I promise you. Because when I go to E3, I will have it filmed where my big ass will do a cartwheel.
We're a neck brace, man. I don't want anything bad happening.
No.
I'm gonna do this right here. I want everybody on Twitter who follows me on Twitter to DM me, not DM me. Tweet at me and let me know what your oh shit moment will be at this year.
So tweet Predator H2Os. Let them know what
you're. Make it too, I want to know.
Tweet all of us. Put every panel, all our tags out there, and let us know what your oh shit moment would be for E3 this year, because it's really interesting. You got so many people, like, there's people like, oh, Xbox people are saying wait for E3 again and stuff like that, but there is a true excitement here, because let's be honest, they're trying to divert the attention that, Xbox has their own building. They're planning something big. You got Mikey Barra tweeting out pictures of Rise statues saying, hey, I remember this guy.
That boy.
Oh my goodness.
I saw that. Man, I wanted to go touch on my woman, my old lady. I saw that. I was like, what? What?
So yeah, guys, definitely do that. I mean, we are very active.
Yep, that's what it sounds like. Anyway.
Yo, where is Darth Vader when you need him?
I'm the true.
I gotta go.
Okay, all right, let's go.
Well, yeah, it's about that time to wrap it up. So, guys, I think this was a really important show, man. We touched on topics. We talked about things, and I think we put things in a proper perspective, man, because it's been absolutely crazy out there, in the gaming community, out there on social media and stuff. And I think this show needed to come out at this time. But like a 40-year-old with a comb over, we gotta get those plugs in, and I am gonna start with the Don. The Don, man. Let people know where they can get a hold of you and what you've been up to, dude.
The best way is on Twitter, which is @TheDon_KTR, and the same thing on Xbox Live and all that good stuff. And yeah, you'll see if I'm mixer streaming, if I decide to do a YouTube video. My goal on YouTube is just be one YouTube video ahead of Hellhammer. So until he puts a video, I don't have to put one out for a while, but that's kind of the idea.
We gotta get Hellhammer on as a special guest sometimes. That would be a blast, dude.
We definitely do, because he seems to hang on Crap's Xbox Nation, and we need to get him out of that shell a little bit, if you know what I mean. So.
I got you, brother, man. Yo, Predator, game winner from last week, man. You are not in the voting this week. You got to take that time off and everything like that. So I hope you come with that fire for next Saturday. But why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you and talk games, man?
I'm gonna tell you what, man. I was like relieved. I actually won and didn't have to actually.
Dude, it felt like you were working overtime, right?
I was like, fuck, man, I keep losing. It was nice to have a week off, and I look forward to having another week off after next week. Predator _HOS on Twitter, on Xbox Live, on PlayStation 4. I'm done.
All right. Well, Mega, I know you are the resident Halo completionist, especially Halo 4. So why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you and ask you about your Halo 4 strategy, man?
Right, man. If you want to hit me up on my channel and ask me about Halo 4, go ahead and hit me up on KMega45 on YouTube, at KMega4 on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? You can join the GRG Patreon. You know what I'm saying? That would be great. Also, you can come see GRG every Friday night. If you guys watch Crossfire, that's great. But fuck Crossfire. It's all about GRG. GRG podcast at 8:30 Central. I think it's 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Would definitely like to have you guys there. And man, it's always fun. Remember, my gameplay is always authentic. It's authentic. If you didn't like Nier, you can always look at Redeemer and say that, damn, I ain't never seen that game. Mega be bringing that heat. If you didn't like Redeemer, you could always look at the nostalgia as I bring Mortal Kombat 9. Who showed you Mortal Kombat 9 gameplay? Nobody became Mega.
Show some Halo gameplay. Halo 4. The one
where's that Halo 4?
Give people what they want there, K-Mega.
I will give people what they want. Next week you will get some Halo 4 footage. That's a promise.
And you notice ever since Sea of Thieves launched, the Dawn, it's all Sea of Thieves. That's
the only gameplay I have recorded. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, so it's all good, man. But thank you guys. Oh, big shout out to Intro Media Gaming. Big shout out to doing our thing on BGST. And when I get out there and deal with a lot of fanboys on the multiplayer when I jump on there when I do. Oh, Lord Jesus.
Yo, guys, what is going on with the gameplay? Like, I just checked the poll. Is it like some joke that I don't get votes right now? Because I brought Cuphead. I brought Prey. I brought Marvel vs. Capcom with Venom and Black Panther, and this is what happens? Like, really? Come on, guys.
What's going on right now?
Must be K-Mega must be winning.
What's going on right now?
Yo, go to my Twitter at xbot448, and you can see for yourself. I have it pinned up on the profile as usual every Saturday. It is a 24-hour poll, so everybody go out there and vote. Yo, as usual, the chat was absolute fire. We had over 100 people watching tonight. It was really good topics. The support that we get is absolutely amazing. Yo, shout out to everybody out there that supports this show, that supports this channel, and all the channels that are on the panel as well. You guys, you inspire us to come every Saturday and give you the most entertaining and knowledgeable gaming podcast that we can create, and it's all for you guys. So, as I say every Saturday, we will check you out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
R.I.P. to Mini-Me. See, that's nasty.
Determination to conquer all my ambitions, despite all the conditions. In light of my past decisions, made it to this position.